So today we're doing our last lesson in Unit 11, Effects of Changing Dimensions. So let's look at this. If the dimensions of a solid are multiplied by a scale factor of A, then the surface area is A squared times the original surface area. The volume is A cubed times the original volume. Okay, now let's look at number 1. If the dimensions of a figure are doubled, how many times larger will the surface area be? So dimensions are doubled 2 times something. Now that's dimension. That's a linear measurement. It says how many times larger will the surface area be. So to make this compatible with area, we have to square it. So it would be 4 times larger. Okay, let's look at number 2. So number 2 says the surface area of a figure is 62 centimeters squared. If the dimensions are multiplied by 5, so we're multiplying the dimensions by 5, what will be the surface area of the new figure? So here's dimensions, here's surface area. We've got to get them both surface area, so I have to square this one. So 5 squared is 25 times 62, 1,550 centimeters squared. Okay, let's look at number 4. So number 4 says cone A is similar to cone B. If cone A has a surface area of 1,422 kilometers squared and cone B has a surface area of 158 kilometers squared, how many times larger is cone A than cone B? So now larger is dimensions, length, width, height, so forth. But up here we're talking about the surface area. So cone A, so it's 1,422 divided by cone B, which is 158. So if we put that in our calculator, we're going to come out with 9. But this is surface area we're looking at here. They want to know how many times larger cone A is than cone B. So this is area, so we have to convert it to dimension. So we're going backwards, so we're going to take the square root of this. So the answer is 3 times larger. All right, so let's look at number 7. So number 7 says the volume of a figure is 972 meters cubed if the dimensions are multiplied by 2/3. What will be the volume of the new figure? So you see this right here, cubed? This is dimension. So what do I do to it? I'm going to volume, Got a cube. So if I do that, then I'm going to get 288 meters cubed. Let's look at number 8. So number 8, solid A is similar to solid B. The volume of solid A is 21 inches cubed. The volume of solid B is 4,536 inches cubed. How many times smaller is solid A than solid B? So we have 21 over 4,536. So if we put that in our calculator, in fact, if we divided 21 into the numerator and denominator, we'd have 1 over 216. Now, this is volume they're talking about, volume. So this is a volume ratio here. The question is, how many times smaller is solid A than solid B? That's a dimension. So we're going to have to take the cube root to go back to dimension here. So what we see is we have 1 over 6. So it's 6 times smaller. 6 times smaller. Okay, so let's turn the page over. So here, what happens if you only change one dimension? So this is different. On the other page, we were changing all the dimensions. This time, just one dimension. Changing only one dimension means that the figures are not similar. So in this situation, we're going to choose test values. Calculate both the old and the new surface area or volume, then compare our answers. So let's look at number 10. So number 10 says, how many times larger is the volume of a square pyramid if the base edge is tripled? Okay, so what are we talking about? The volume of a square pyramid. So the volume of a pyramid, square pyramid, would be 1/3 base times height. But now it's a square pyramid, so the volume is going to be 1/3. The base area would be side squared h. So we're going to look at two cases. We're going to look at that case, and we're going to look at another case. Volume is 1/3 side squared h. So now we're talking about a square pyramid. So if I have here a square pyramid, here's my square pyramid. Now, here in my pyramid, I'm going to say that the height is equal to 1, and I'm going to say that each side is 1. That's going to be case 1 here. So let me calculate the volume. The volume is equal to 1/3 of 1, the side is 1, squared times the height is 1. So volume is equal to 1/3. Okay, now case 2, it says the base edge is tripled. So this is going to be 3, and this is going to be 3. We're not changing the height, we're just changing that. Okay, so the volume then is going to equal 1/3 of 3 squared times 1. So the volume is equal to 3 squared is 9 divided by 3 is 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, so here, how many times larger is the volume? So I'm going to take the volume here, 3. I'm going to divide by this volume, which is 1/3. That's going to be 9 times. 9 times larger. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do number 12. So number 12 says, how many times smaller is the surface area of a cube if the side length is multiplied by 1/4? So we're talking about surface area of a cube. Surface area of a cube is equal to perimeter times the height plus the two bases. And since it's a cube, it's going to be side squared. It's going to be the base area. So I've got surface area is equal to perimeter times height plus 2 times s squared. Now, so we're talking about a cube here. So here's my cube. Okay, so there's my cube. Now, what I'm going to assume first, whatever I choose here for my sides, I'm going to have to multiply times 1/4. So if I don't want to mess with a bunch of nasty fractions, what am I going to choose this to be? That's right, 4. 4, 4. Okay, so my cube, all sides are 4. Okay, that's in case 1. So here I've got the surface area is equal to, now what's the perimeter of my cube? 16. Good job, good choice. 16. The height is 4 plus 2 times, now the side is 4 squared, right? Okay, so here we have the surface area is equal to 4 times 16 is 64 plus 4 squared is 16 times 2, 32. So the surface area here is 96. Now, for case 2 over here, we're going to multiply these dimensions by 1/4. So what do they become? 1, 1, 1. They become 1. Okay, so let's do it here. Now, my perimeter now is what? 4. My height is 1 plus 2 times 1 squared. So the surface area in case 2 would be 4 plus 2. So surface area is equal to 6. Okay, how many times smaller? So 96 divided by 6, that's going to equal 16 times smaller. Okay, so that's the way we do those. Y'all can go ahead and get started.
Have it working, partner?
Yes, yes, sir.